Salute Knicks Nation. The streets are buzzing in the Orlando, Florida tonight as the Knicks win their 6th straight and 11 games above 500 now, 21-10. This one was a physical game as the Knicks gritted it out. They showed their toughness. They showed their championship medal against a short-handed Orlando team because Orlando came physical tonight, man. They played jail ball tonight and the Knicks were just too much. Obviously, the three-point shooting wasn't needed in this one as the Knicks got it done with fast break points, points in the paint, and defense as the Knicks were rough riders tonight. They were dogs. They came to play after a sluggish start. They picked it up and of course they came away with the victory. Let's shout out our heroes in the chat tonight. Salute Knicks Nation. Great to be with you. Friday night Knicks. And another dub to stack up in this one, in the first of a back-to-back. We've got Washington tomorrow night in Washington, and then we'll play Washington again, also in Washington after that, a few days after. But the Knicks 21-10, I think was big time in this one. They're now 16-4 in their last 20 games. I think is big time as well. 10 steals, 19 fast break points in this one. And we didn't shoot many threes, if at all, right, in this one. Let's talk about it, guys. We've got game balls to give out. I'm going to give out multiple game balls tonight. So smash that like button. Great to have you with us. Prezi, Troy, David M, Buzzer Beater. Let's get it, guys. Champagne got into the rotation in this one fully as well early in the ball game. Gave us some great production, I felt, in that second quarter. And I'm buzzing right now. Prezi, you're buzzing. Everyone's buzzing right now. Cousins. Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, I think, were the standout performers. Cat had foul trouble, which has obviously plagued some of his season so far. But this one wasn't really one that frustrated me with Cat. I think there was a lot of physicality in this one. It wasn't any of those really foolish fouls. But obviously, the physicality of Orlando. I talk about season series. I think this is a significant win for many reasons. We widen the gap on Orlando now, who are fourth coming in. We're third, and we widen the gap, I think, to 4 games between us now. And obviously the season series. So we established our dominance in the second half as we play 2 more very winnable games. And then we've got Utah as well, who we know we have to get back from that last loss earlier in the season, right? But like I said, Brunson and Hart, they were standout performers in this one. Hart was gritty all over the place, physical ball. He thrives in it. What can I say, fam? And I'm going to give out 2 game balls. I felt for Josh Hart, he gets an A+ for the grade today. And Brunson will get an A for dimes and controlling the ball game, scoring in isolation when the Knicks offense just, wasn't, functioning at its peak, obviously because Orlando's defense really was good tonight. They were physical, in undisciplined as well. But talk about 2 players that I think could play throwback basketball. I think they could play in the 90s, early 2000s. Let me know what you guys think. Not only play, but I mean thrive. I mean, they would be superstars in the 90s and early 2000s. I'm talking about Josh Hart and I'm talking about Jalen Brunson, right? For different reasons, OG, Bridges, and Brunson and Cat, thrive in this new age basketball game. But I think in just terms of physical play, they love to get after it, bang bang plays. Hart gets after it with the rebounding as well. I would love to see him go head to head against a Dennis Rodman back in the day. But a Jalen Brunson type, he takes charges. Not many point guards put their body on the line like a Jalen Brunson as well. So that's how much I appreciate those guys, fam. And yeah, it's great to see them, help us get this big dub today as well. Orange and Blue Sky says, Prezi the boss, salute, appreciate you, and smash that like button. David M says, another good win, salute Buzzer Beater. Troy says, Magic played like this was a playoff game. Every Knick near the ball was fouled. They took no prisoners, and Knicks still took the ball game and won. Yeah, Absolutely, man. Great comment. As we're going to talk about the All-Star voting, and we're going to get our guys in the All-Star game. Voting is live, so click the link, and you can get those guys into the All-Star game. And I think they will get in, no doubt. Talking about Brunson and Cat. Um, but yeah, Orlando, they played with pride. They play hard. Jamal Mosley is very familiar with Jalen Brunson back from their Dallas days, in case you didn't know. So he has mad respect for Brunson. And last game we saw them try to blitz Brunson and trap a lot. In this one, we saw them try to really be physical with our bigs, with Cat down low. They weren't having that 22 rebounds from last time. That Cat was really active, and you could see. And I know they're shorthanded, so I'm not getting carried away. The Knicks took care of business. They did what they needed to do, but the way we did it was the most pleasing thing. That's what I'm most hyped about. We didn't even need threes tonight. It was in the paint. It was fast break buckets, and it was physical play with 10 steals, fam, as well. We are going to talk about the minutes. Obviously, Landry Shamet's in the rotation, fam. So I'm not too worried long term, but hopefully, he spreads the minutes around a bit more. Yorkel. Big Dave, impressive win. Let's get it. Michael Drake, 6 in a row now. Let's keep building. Let's get to 10 in a row. But yeah, some stats for you all, bigger picture stuff, fam. OG Anunoby, we are 41 and 13 now in the lineup with OG Anunoby. 41 wins, 13 losses. That's crazy. We're 16 and 4 now in the last 20 games. So that is well and truly clicking. And we're turning on the jets, which is what we need. We're going to look around the rest of the league. Injuries, teams getting plagued with injuries. Anthony Davis out. Luka Doncic out for a month now. Orlando, no Mo Wagner, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero. I mean, we need to capitalize. We're only 2 losses back of the Boston Celtics for that second seed, fam. And we ain't even played our best basketball for the season, I don't think, man. We are only, 31 games into the season, not even at the halfway point. And I think the Knicks have a lot of, ways that they can improve. Obviously, with some, defense, we're moving up, fam. We've got some numbers to look at. Over the last 10 games, the Knicks have moved up to 6th in defense. But Cat, the foul troubles, we have to clean that up. Obviously, some sloppy turnovers today as well. And the missed free throws, guys. I know you're going to talk about that in the chat. The wise fans that we are, 24 and 34 from the foul line. I mean, that's 10 points right there. Easy buckets that we left at the foul line. But we got it done. Impressive win. Jet Life, great to see you. Brightest Future says, nice to get to the line. Look, yeah, 34 times is good, but you have to hit them. You have to hit them, fam, as well. But many blessings out here to everyone listening. We're rocking out live right now. Smash that like button. Replay squad salute. Festive vibes. I hope you and yours had an excellent Christmas as well. Merry Christmas, belated Christmas, and happy Hanukkah as well, that those celebrate. And festive vibes tonight on Friday Night Knicks. Let's get it tomorrow night. Another win, hopefully, against Washington. Let's keep this train rolling right now. Give us your takes on this one, fam, and how the Knicks are rolling. Obviously, we've given the game balls to Hart and Brunson, but Mikal Bridges, I think, continues to showcase his defense. 43 minutes tonight, 6 of 12, was gritty, got after it. I like the effort that I'm seeing from Mikal Bridges now. I think he's really turned the corner, well and truly. So that's pleasing again tonight, fam. That continues to be a massive factor on our side. Now, OG was efficient as well, 4 of 8, but quiet night, 8 points, +7. Everyone in the plus outside of Cameron Payne as well. I'm pleased that Landry Shamet is officially into the rotation now. He got second quarter minutes, and he drained a 3 as well, and was 3 of 4 from the field tonight as well. So that's another big story to come out of tonight's ball game. Landry Shamet is in the rotation now for good. What are your thoughts on that, guys? As we head to the trade deadline, and the Knicks can sign another 15th guy out of the buyout market or a free agent on the March 2nd. I think that's going to be a key date to watch as well. Jericho Sims is out of the rotation. Precious Achua, I thought he was good and bad tonight. It was a mixed bag from Precious. I really love the hustle. He was battling old school style in the paint against Goga Bitadze, man. It was like a classic Pistons Celtics kind of rivalry in terms of the big men, and they were really hacking and whacking. But Precious, he gave good effort tonight. 6 points +7 with 3 offensive rebounds. But he did have a couple of turnovers, 3 turnovers, and some sloppy play as well. So yeah, we've got to clean that up as well against some better teams tonight. But season series dub, let's get a salute from everyone. Sandman says, I didn't like how Cat played. It was very atrocious today, despite winning by 20 plus. So you're a glass half empty kind of situation from tonight. I think, yeah, Cat has his moments in these kind of games. I think it was a very physical style game, and they were just simply on a mission to make sure that Cat didn't get 20 rebounds like last time. I think that's Jamal Mosley. I'm more tipping my cap to Orlando on that one, but he's got to be more disciplined. But also, yeah, Orlando were very undisciplined themselves. Jalen Suggs picking up his 5th foul in the 3rd quarter. That changed tonight's ball game. Absolutely, the game was on course to be a lot closer. If Suggs didn't pick up his 5th foul. But that's clever for the Knicks, We fought fire with fire. The Orlando Magic tried to bait us into their style of play. We're a more talented, skillful team, and they knew that. And also we're more healthy. So they kind of roped us into their style, and we just outwitted them in this one. As I'm just going to pull up the stats now, and we can look at the team stats and where the Knicks thrive tonight. Points in the paint, fam. 60 points in the paint. Right. Everyone talking about the NBA going towards 3-point game, and Kevin Durant weighing in, and all these people talking about the league, Boston shooting too many threes. The Knicks with Tom Thibodeau flip the switch to a throwback. 60 points in the paint. Look at those fast break points, man. I don't think we'll see that as lopsided all season, fam. The Knicks bludgeon Orlando points in the paint, 19-2 points in the paint, man. Shout out to Hart once again, Mikal Bridges, for getting up and down with their fast break buckets in this one, and the 10 steals as a team. And they're your 2 New York Knicks that get my game balls. Let us know your thoughts if you want to give another game ball out, or you agree or disagree. What's up, Mike? Great to see you. There's some things that, Achua does try to expand his game a little bit, and I just need him to tighten that up. I agree with you on that, Sandman. Buzzabita says 2 straight games against a struggling team could be scary hours. We've got to keep our foot on the gas. Talking about the home and home baseball series against the Washington Wiz, but I think you got to take game at a time. I think they'll adjust after the first game, just like Orlando adjusted tonight. But Washington, let's go in there with the killer's mindset tomorrow night, fam. Maybe expands the rotation a little bit more. I think that would be wise. But wishful thinking. Johnny, salutations. Hart is the player you hate to play against, and so glad that he's on your team. A+ for the hustle. Well, absolutely. You said it, Johnny. You said it. I gave these guys their praise early. I said that they're throwback kind of players. They could play in any era. Brunson and Hart. They could play in the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, and of course now. I mean, Hart's expanded his game to the 3-point line now as well, and he rebounds like Dennis Rodman light. 2.0 fam as well. Let's get it, guys. We've got to clean up the free throws. That's big as well. I'm frustrated. Brunson's missing a lot of free throws that he does have to improve on, especially the technicals. The technicals should go to our best 3-point shooter. I haven't looked at the numbers, but if you are missing a couple in a row, then be a leader and give it up. Give it up to the better free throw shooter. I would like Cat to shoot the free throws. I think he's shooting the best. But 18 assists tonight. I think, credit to Orlando once again. 3-point attempts. There's a reason we only shot as many as we did. Not very much, fam. 15 threes the Knicks got up tonight. because Orlando were just smothering us on the perimeter, but we were getting a lot of backdoor cuts. We were getting a lot of the points in the paint, and we're having a lot of success that way. So I think we did play smart, and we didn't, need to shoot those extra threes. But yeah, Orlando was definitely, up into our grills in this one. We had to shake them off. We shook them off late, man, like a younger brother that's just pestering you, in the playground, and they keep trying to foul you just because they're not good enough, they're not skilled enough, but they just keep trying to foul you, man. It was prison ball tonight. But there's a silver lining because we're warming up for the postseason, of course. If we do see Orlando in the postseason, could you imagine with Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Mo Wagner? Could you imagine if those three cats were healthy on Orlando and we see them in the playoffs? Whew, man, that's going to be that's going to be an old school battle as well, and the refs are going to have to swallow the whistle on that one. Um, Mike and Halo, great to have you with us. Salute to you, and I know you're huge Knicks fans as well as fans of the pod. Great to have you with us, and let's go Knicks. El Tango says, yeah, as always, Orlando trying to beat us playing rugby style, disguised as ball. The roommates did their thing. Let's go Knicks. Yeah, the roommates stood up on business tonight as well, with festive vibes as well. They stood on business. Yeah, I like Precious Achua's hustle as always. I think he really had to step up in big moments with Cat, missing significant time due to the foul trouble. Um, that doesn't go unnoticed. Precious Achua's 20 minutes were key. At least 10 of those minutes were heavy rotation minutes when, Cat was out with foul trouble. But yeah, we've got to be smarter with that. That's another reason why I'm looking forward to Mitchell Robinson returning, and we have an update for you all based on Mitchell Robinson's health. I'm going to bring that up right now. Reporting from the beat, Stephen Bondi says Tibbs earlier pre-game said that Mitchell Robinson is light and lean. He's working extremely hard. And Tibbs adds that the next step for Mitchell Robinson is to start running at full speed and then contact and then getting cleared for practice. So it's not going to be, early in the month of January. The earliest it's going to be late January. However, he's in good conditioning. He's ready. He's attacking the rehab, of course, and he's on track to make his return maybe at some point in January. And I think that's going to help alleviate some of the, the physical play with Cat at the 5 and the foul trouble. We need Cat ready to go in the fourth quarter in really good close games against good teams. But we spread the wealth, fam. I mean, I still really are learning to appreciate this starting 5 in new ways, and the spread scoring. I mean, it ain't like Brunson exploded for scoring, or it ain't like Hart, is probably the fifth leading scorer in the starting 5, and we share the rock today, with 23 with Hart, 16 for Cat, 17 for Bridges, and 26 for JB. So. Basically almost all 5 starters in double figures. OG Anunoby only played 27 minutes as well due to foul trouble. Picked up 4 fouls as well. But look, they were gritty. He was on the floor getting loose balls, hustling for those as well. So that's where a lot of the fouls come in. But what are your thoughts on the Knicks winning in different ways? We're learning. I look at teams like Boston, I look at Cleveland, and they're a very heavy offensive team with 3-point shooting. Can they grit it out against the likes of an Orlando like we did tonight? I think it's going to be, a calling card of the New York Knicks, to win different ways in the playoffs. It's going to be matchup dependent. I think if we play Cleveland, I think it's going to be the bigs are going to have a big say in that series because of your Jarrett Allens, Evan Mobleys, and that. I think the Knicks might need Mitchell Robinson in the lineup starting in a dual big lineup. If we are playing Orlando, definitely going to need those bigs. I think, win the glass, win the battle of the paint like we did tonight. And I think we punk Orlando in the playoffs because Paolo is going to try to drive into the lane. He's not a 3-point shooter. So I think that's the only way Orlando are going to try to beat us, man. With that. But yeah, Brunson's dimes, 9 dimes, excellent. Obviously, we're going to touch on the third Nick next up. But yeah, I give Brunson an A for the 9 dimes and leading us in that third quarter. Soul Snatcher, great to have you with us. Appreciate it. Buzzer Beater says, I got half of the Cadillac trivia question tonight right. Bernard King, St. Christmas Day Massacre. Yeah, you're on it, man. Your ball knowledge runs deep, and let's get it. Brightest Future says the and ones are the best play in basketball. It's a good way to negate a hot team from deep. That's a great point. I think the Knicks are good at getting those and ones as well, fighting over screens, getting into traffic, taking on the contact. A lot of players shy away from contact as well. If you play through it, you're more than likely to get the whistle. These referees, they're human. They hate the back talk. And as much as it's vindicated sometimes, these referees, they remember. They've got a long memory. And if you make it personal, they might make it personal as well. If you just play through it, I think the Knicks played through it tonight. Jalen Suggs, he was in his feelings today. He was in his feelings, especially with that fifth foul. And if I recall, he was bugging in the last game where he got tossed as well. So yeah, they play young, they play undisciplined, and they don't play smart, Orlando. But they are coming. They are young and they are coming up as well. I'm not holding my breath with Mitchell Robinson. I'm being hopeful, but let's see. I think one thing I can't, take away from Mitchell Robinson is his dedication. I think the guy plays through pain and fights through rehabilitation as well as anyone that I've seen in the NBA. I mean, Lord knows how many times he's had to come back, and if he does and he really makes a strong impression, then all the flowers to him. I think the Knicks could really use him in certain matchups as well. Yeah, just guys, the guidelines of the channel as well. Just remember to keep it civil and keep it respectful. Let's keep it buzzing. Let's talk about Bridges, because Mikal Bridges, man, has been the third best Nick, I think, for the best part of the last 10 games. Especially, on both sides I'm talking about. And, ever since that real, that low point, I think it was against Charlotte. God knows how many games back it was, that Charlotte game where we barely won by a point, and it was at the low point. But since then, man, we're looking at a completely different Mikal Bridges. And he's in his comfort zone. I think that's the best way I can describe it. He just didn't really feel like he was comfortable with the whole environment. His role on the team, the effort wasn't there, of course, but I think wanting to win over the fans and obviously feel like he's settled in. And now we're seeing Mikal Bridges. I think this is the best he's played for a stretch. Going back even all of last season, I think. I watched a lot of the games with Brooklyn, and he's definitely looking like a much improved kind of version of Mikal Bridges. Deadly in the mid range, getting the steals tonight as well, picking pockets with 2 steals, 3 assists, 17 points as well on a 50% efficiency as well, despite only shooting 1 3 as well. So Mikal Bridges. With that said, I mean, I'll take it. Efficiency, almost 20 points a game. He's averaging 20 points a game over the last 10 games, and he is really getting after it. 5 of 6 from the free throw line as well. So yeah, with that said, I think let's keep it rolling with Mikal Bridges. Right, I'm impressed. Right, but I know that there's another level that he can get to. I know that there is another level that he can hit. So I think there's an all-star version of Mikal Bridges still in the horizon. I'm keeping it cool. I'm keeping it positive. I think he gets an A- for today, right? 17 points on efficiency, 2 steals, and 50% from the field as well. Was guarding Suggs pretty well after the first, portion of the game. and I was running the floor really well. A couple of times Hart threw the ball out of bounds, and he's always the leading player down the court is Mikal Bridges. He's always trying to. He's the leader or he's the trailer usually to pick his spots, and he's cutting at a really good time. Let's just do some moderation with the chat. Appreciate you guys. We'll move on to the next Nick in just a sec. Now, OG Anunoby and Karl Anthony Towns. Let's hit on OG, because another night where OG's offense wasn't needed. But once again, I love the hustle. 5 rebounds, gave us 8 points, +7, and a 4 of 8 from the field. Is still efficient, so you can't really ask for more than that out of 8 attempts, being efficient. Didn't get a steal, didn't get a block, but was in foul trouble. Only played 27 minutes. So, look, OG should be more fresh for tomorrow night. I guess that's the positive thing that I'm seeing with tonight. It's 27 minutes. He usually plays obviously 39, 38, 39, 40. OG Anunoby should be fresh for tomorrow's matchup. He probably would have finished with something like 15 points had he played 10 more minutes. But look, the foul trouble is something that, was the mixed bag from tonight. But yeah, once again, it was the style of play. So that Orlando were playing. I'm going to give OG a B for his performance tonight. What did you guys think? Rye Bread's in the building. Says, I say Mitch plays 15 minutes off the bench, but no back-to-backs. Now, playoff schedule is different with more days off. That could be a way to look at it. Yeah, obviously there's going to be a long way to go till playoffs. We're going to have a good look at him from January and see where his impact is and his efficiency and his conditioning. And durability. But yeah, the good thing is we've got options, and I think we don't need to overexert Mitch and overplaying him. OKC is a real litmus test, Buzzer. Yeah, I think out west is going to be a lot of challenges with the second game against the Rockets as well. The Memphis Grizzlies going to play like Orlando did tonight as well, with the grit and grind. But look, take nothing away from our Knicks. Like we have an identity, and it's an offensive-minded team, but we can go toe-to-toe. If you do want to play dirty, if you do want to play physical, we've got guys that can do that as well. And I think I've seen a lot of growth in players like OG, Bridges, and Cat specifically. Cat used to whinge and whine a lot more when he was with Minnesota. I am seeing a more mature Karl Anthony Towns. Right? He does pick up those ticky-tack fouls, but I think the leadership of Brunson and Tibbs does hold him in check as well. And he is playing more physical than he did in Minnesota. Obviously, OG Anunoby as well. Before he became a New York Knick, there was doubts over his durability, doubts over his ability to play extra physical, and some of the tendencies to sit games out and things like that. I haven't seen that at all. OG Anunoby's definitely been durable this season, and he's stepped it up, man. And he's been amazing. 41 games in the win column, 13 losses with OG in the lineup. And obviously Mikal Bridges, like we spoke on, has really started to pick things up. So yeah, we're going to give the grade to Cat in a minute. Next up, continue to shout you guys out. We're all buzzing, smashing that like button. Just a quick look at the efficiency landscape. So this is over the last 10 games, fam. And I'll just bring this up larger. You can see the New York Knicks are 4th in net rating around the league in the last 10 ball games, 3rd in offense, and 9th now in defense. This was before tonight. So the 10 games before tonight. So that is excellent to be 9th in defense, 3rd in offense, and to be 4th in the league over the last 10 games, fam. That is right there, fam. That's ahead of Boston now. So that's significant now that we've closed the gap on Boston in the wins and losses, but it also reflects that in the net rating over the last 10 games. The Knicks are ahead of Boston, fam, and right on the heels of the Memphis Grizzlies, Oklahoma, and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jazz man salute. What's buzzing? Feisty Orlando. There was a problem when they get their main guys back. I think they deserve to be in fourth. I think, but yeah, I think talent versus talent. I don't think they're on the level of Cleveland and us and Boston. But yeah, they're in a good situation where they're at in fourth as well. Neymar gives the B plus for OG salute. Gangstar says 26 minutes is good, and gives Cat a B minus as well. Yeah, on that note, we're going to give Cat the grade right now. But salute to these Knicks making their run, you know. Remember, you want to be peaking as the season goes along. We're hitting January now in the new year. We're about to ring in the new year, and then February, March, and then it's all eyes on the playoffs, fam. So the rest, this second half of the season is gonna blink, man. We're gonna blink, and it's gonna fly by. There's gonna be a lot more back-to-backs because the Knicks haven't had many back-to-backs, and Orlando have had a lot of games as well. I'm going to give Cat a B minus for tonight, fam. Like I said, I know the style of play was kind of baiting Cat in, but the officials could have been a lot worse, but still gave us 16 points, plus 17, and 6 of 10 from the field, and 2 of 4 from distance as well, and did miss a couple of free throws, 8 rebounds, and grabbed 1 steal as well, did Cat. And obviously the start, what did you guys think of the start of the ball game? I do want us to come out with a bit more energy to start ball games, because against better teams, you are going to have to, climb uphill if you do give these good teams a head start. And I think the Knicks did a good job of reeling it back in early in the second quarter. We basically finished close to even at the end of the first. We were down 26-29 and then 54 apiece at the end of the half. So the Knicks did pull it back in that second quarter. Brunson had 7 dimes by the second quarter, I think, by the end. But that second quarter was so crazy. It was so chippy and physical. And the Knicks, won that battle, especially in that late third, early fourth. We did take their heart out, right? The crowd as well. Can we get a salute for the Knicks crowd as well? We had Let's Go Knicks chants. We had Deuce, obviously, as well. New York City, man. New York City Light, MSG Light 2.0 up in Orlando with this one. Equal scoring, Michael Drake, yeah. That's what you want to see. I don't really think we need to see that dominant offensive Brunson. I think he picks his spots, but 9 dimes tonight. He deserves his flowers in this one. A with the game ball. Really, with that talent around Brunson, he should be getting, 9 to 10 dimes on a night, man. 21, 25 points, but give us 10 dimes. I'll sign up for that right now. Depending how the game is going, if it's a tight game late, take over Brunson is going to hit, obviously, as well. If Cat has it rolling, Cat's going to be that go-to guy. But I mean, the way Hart, Bridges, and OG cut, I mean, they are just the perfect teammates to have with Hart, with Cat and Brunson, because they thrive off the ball. They weren't like a Julius Randle or a RJ Barrett that play best with the basketball. OG, Hart, and Midi Bridges have just as much of an impact when they don't have the basketball as well. So that's why we assembled, this starting 5. And everyone's moving, everyone's grooving, no ISO ball like Jazzman says, no hero ball. You love to see that, fam. And I know, Minnesota's having some struggles out there as well. But opposite here, fam, we are rolling 21-10, 11 games above 500 now. Let's continue roll. We got Washington twice, and then we've got the Utah Jazz, and then January really starts to toughen up. A lot of games at home though, so I think the Knicks will be in good position to protect the Garden. Now, next up on the dial, we're going to talk about Landry Shamet's impact, Deuce McBride, and the rest of the bench, fam. Precious Achiuwa getting heavy minutes, and Cameron Payne as well. What are your thoughts on the Knicks' new look reserve lineup and bench lineup with these guys? Man, really solid 9-man rotation now. I think guys are really going to have an opportunity before the trade deadline to make sure that that they have the maximum impact and let the Knicks front office know that we might not need to make any more moves, outside of the margins, maybe a buyout guy. But I like what I saw from Shamet, It's still early. He's just come back into the rotation. But yeah, he looked really lively, and he was, spotting up, running the break. And I'm going to pull up a highlight in this one. You run the break, Hart will find you. And obviously, Cam Payne found him in the corner, and he put the ball on the floor and made a play at the bucket. That's why I like Landry Shamet. He's not just a three-point shooter. He can put the ball on the floor, and he can challenge you at the rim as well. For a guy of 6'4", 6'5", he plays with good energy and a good speed and a good skill as well. It uses the left-handed dribble and cuts baseline on the closeout. So, yeah, really heady player. He's a veteran. He's been through playoff wars, and he's been through a lot of playoff games as well. So that's why Tibbs and the front office, really thought highly of Landry after their training camp, and preseason. To get him back into the building, I think was a smart move, and I think he's going to help repay that faith and be a big factor for the New York Knicks as the 9th man. With that, so yeah, I think Landry, his stats, we're going to give out his grade. Played 10 minutes, 3 or 4. I mean, excellent, and 1 3-pointer, and 7 points plus 5 with 1 rebound, and got us 2 steals as well. So quality production in 10 minutes from Landry Shamet, and if he keeps that up, he'll definitely keep those minutes, and I think you'll definitely see some more minutes. So yeah, great to have you back, Landry, and you deserve flowers for your rehab and getting back with the squad in a timely manner. And I'm going to give Landry a B+ in this one, fam, for those minutes. So yeah, he took advantage of his minutes, and I think Tibbs is definitely happy that he's back, so he can play that 9th man. See, there's a reason Tibbs was rocking with 8 earlier, and I really wanted him to play 9, but there's a reason why he was holding out. I think for a player that he trusts more. Kolek and Dadier maybe still need to develop their games a bit more to be getting major minutes for a contending team. Right now, I think Tibbs will be sharpening his rotation. He'll be really looking to see the 8 to 9 guys that he's going to get ready for the postseason. Does Mitchell Robinson get in there and force somebody out, or does the Knicks does Tibbs expand it to a 10-man? Let us know your thoughts, fam. Maybe Precious Achiuwa comes out if Mitch comes in. Maybe Landry Shamet comes out if Mitch comes in, or maybe Tibbs just sticks with 10. I think that'll be really interesting to see, right? But let's give Tibbs a grade in this one, because this one was a chippy game. It was full of emotion and a lot of decisions to be made about challenge calls, and whether the New York Knicks, could get an extra possession or two. And the Knicks did a good job, I think, getting those, challenges done. And the Knicks had success early with the challenge call, the timeouts as well. He dealt with the foul trouble. Obviously, he was put in a position where OG and Cat had foul trouble, so he had to play other guys' major minutes. So I'm not freaking out over some of the minutes tonight. Context, was a lot with this one, with other guys in foul trouble. So I'm going to give Tibbs the grade of a B+. in this one. It was a little shaky, sluggish start, and we were a little sloppy at times, and it took us a while to put our foot on the gas and really take over the ball game. But we did towards the end, and we got it done, fam. So on a 6-game winning streak, Tibbs deserves the B plus in this one. Big Dave says, I love how this team can play and win in so many different ways with different players starring in their different games. You know what that means? That's going to be really great for us in the postseason because we're going to be unpredictable, fam. We're going to be unpredictable. I mean, like I said before, the adjustment Orlando made was to make sure that Cat doesn't, get those boards, be extra physical, boxing him out. And what did we do? We got extra cutters, getting points in the paint, and we had help. So we countered their adjustment, I think, which is really big. Points in the paint, 60, man, absolute domination, and 19 fast break buckets to Orlando's 2. Yeah, like you said, Big Dave, if we can win in different ways like that, I mean, yeah, we're not just a 3-point shooting team like a lot of people want to talk about. In fact, we can fight fire with fire, throwback style. Once we get Mitch back, like I said, we can play Cleveland style with 2 bigs. Now Boston, I'm still undecided as to how the Knicks are going to win their 4 games against Boston, in a playoff game. But the good thing is there's still 50 games to go until the playoffs begin, and I think we have to play Boston 3 more times. So I am going to get a good look at how we match up against them again. That first game of the season was just, I mean, you can't even use that as a sample because I mean, it was the very first meaningful game that our new starting 5 has played together. But we are going to need all hands on deck with our versatility. And with that said, Precious Achiuwa is showing that there's a role for him on this team. I think rebounding tonight, 3 offensive rebounds, the huge block that he had under the bucket, he gave him the Dikembe, no, in this one, man. This is our roadhouse in this one. And the crowd was juiced up. And you love to see the fire and desire that Precious plays with. He does play with an emotion. Finished with 2 of 2 from the field, 20 minutes. Like I said, 6 rebounds, 3 offensive. Had 3 turnovers though, so he does have to clean that up. Sometimes he leaves his feet, or he forgets to put the ball on the floor before he takes his dribble. But a steal and a block, +7, 6 points, and he really filled in great in those minutes that Cat was out. Did miss a couple of free throws though, so I know Precious has to do better, finishing at the free throw line with those extra buckets that he can get. So I'm going to give Precious the grade tonight. He gets a B for me. So yeah, just solid all around. Played his role. Played his role like you and I buzzing tonight. And the Knicks closing the gap on Boston. We're going to look at the standings in a minute, and we're going to look at the league, tonight's results too, and the month of January. We'll take another look at that schedule, and I'm going to give you a prediction. We're going to go through the games on paper and just predict how maybe January can play out if we continue this streak. But yeah, obviously Jericho Sims is out of the rotation. He was playing solid, but Precious Achiuwa is filling in those minutes well. And obviously when Mitchell Robinson gets back next month, hopefully that's going to give us another great option. But yeah, welcome back to Landry Shamet. Now, Deuce McBride, the crowd was into it once again with Deuce as well. He was pretty active, but 1 of 4 from the field. Deuce McBride got to the line 4 times, 3 of 4 from the line, 5 rebounds, 2 offensive from Deuce, had 5 points with 2 turnovers, 3 assists, but was a +17 still in 21 minutes. So he led the surge with Deuce McBride being on the court with a +17. So that lets you know that he was still very impactful defensively. I love the 5 rebounds, 3 assists from a combo guard, point guard, limited minutes. He didn't need to score a lot tonight, but he only got up 1 3-pointer. We only got up 15 as a team. So yeah, let's pull up the grade for Deuce. How did you guys see Deuce's performance? Jazzman says here that no emotional hangover from the Spurs game. It was a good sign. Yeah, it was workmanlike. Like I said, it was a little sluggish early in the game, but on the road, and I think there's something to be said about playing a team like 3 times so early in the season. It's we're kind of sick of seeing each other right now. But the season series is in the books with the New York Knicks beating Orlando tonight, and Deuce gets a B for this one. So, like I said, if we do face Orlando in the postseason, it will be a completely different, style of game. I think with Franz Wagner and the 3-point shooting he can provide, but with Paolo, of course, and Mo Wagner out there as well. But yeah, Goga Bitadze, he is an antagonist if I've ever seen one, man. That guy is a throwback style of player as well. Just like Jalen Suggs. I agree, Big Dave. We are just scratching the surface with this team. I kept saying it early during our struggles. I said, this team as a core is built for multiple years to go at it, and make a run for multiple championships, not just one, not just 2, but it's built for, for multiple years and multiple championship runs. And I think early on there was a lot of overreactions, but the team deserves some criticism because they could play so much better. But here we are, we're starting to be a lot more consistent, but we are showing ways that we can be an even better ball club as well. I know Leon Rose is going to continue to improve the squad, continue to build on this, and make great moves as well, fam. Top to bottom as an organization, man, we're just scratching the surface with this, but making great strides. To be 4th in the league in net rating over the last 10 games, I mean, that speaks for itself. Next up, we'll talk about Cameron Payne. Right, quiet night from Cam Payne. Didn't see many minutes, 5 minutes tonight. I think the insertion of Landry Shamet could be a factor in that. Cam Payne hasn't been as aggressive, I think, shooting the basketball, but he still gives you that tempo, the pace, and the energy. So yeah, nothing to really react to with Cameron Payne, overreact to. I think he'll continue to get his 5 to 10 minutes, brings good energy, and plays that backup point guard role. I think that Tibbs is comfortable with. The familiarity with the squad is improving as well, with guys cutting and knowing where guys are going to be. So yeah, I'm going to give Cameron Payne a C tonight. And that's our rotation, man, a 9-man rotation. I'm cool with that. Obviously, I don't think Jericho Sims would get minutes with Achua out. And Dadier, Kolek, Hukporty continue to wait for their opportunities as the G League continues to roll. Westchester played today as well, but none of those guys were with the Westchester Knicks. They were all with the New York Knicks in Orlando. But TJ Warren, Chuma Akiki, and Moses Brown were playing with the Westchester Knicks tonight. I didn't check the score, but we'll take a look in a second. As we look around the league now, and we'll take a look at today's action and where the New York Knicks are in the standings. We had Indiana continue their struggles, fam. Getting blown out by the Boston Celtics, right? We had the Nets go down to the Spurs. We had Memphis pick up another win. We have Cleveland beating Denver comfortably. And currently the Clippers over the Warriors, and the Mavericks without Luka, who's going to be out for a month now at least, beating the Suns too. So, and the Minnesota Timberwolves picked up a gritty win over the Houston Rockets. Right, so that's a big result, fam. Minnesota really needed that one, man. They're in the play-in situation. Yeah, Leon's done a great job so far, but I do think that he's still not satisfied. I think obviously the postseason is going to tell us a lot, and the lead up to the postseason. Brightest Future says, good to watch the minutes coming up on the back-to-back. Yeah, I think the options that the Knicks have, I think it would be wise to really look into inserting, Daddy A in there, Kolek in these back-to-backs. Let's see how it plays out. The second night of a back-to-back in Washington tomorrow night, fam. As the Knicks go to 21-10 on the season and just 2 losses back of the Boston Celtics, fam. So I think that really puts into perspective where we sit and what the Knicks have achieved so far. And there's been a little bit of a soft schedule, and we've caught a lot of teams with some injured guys. But we're also a team that's incorporated a lot of new pieces, and it's taken us time to gel. And I don't think many people have spoke on that, fam. We've literally inserted like 2 new players in the starting 5. As a contending team, that takes time to gel. And last season took a lot out of the returning guys, in terms of Brunson and Hart getting banged up in the postseason and having interrupted, off-season summers. But right now, you want to be clicking heading in towards the playoffs. And I think the Knicks are trending in that direction. On a tear now, won the last 6, 8-2 in the last 10. Outside of Cleveland, we're the hottest team in the East. As you see, this second column, second to right column, Cleveland 9-1, the New York Knicks 8-2, Boston 6-4, as well as the Bucks, the Heat, the Hawks, and the Pacers too. To put things into perspective, man, the Pacers, who were dubbed a contender as well, Eastern Conference, reigning Eastern Conference appearance, they are 2 games under 500, man. And we are close to 6 games. Yeah, 6 games up on the Indiana Pacemakers. Well, so that's huge. Pretenders right now are those Pacemakers. Orlando, we basically, like I said, we shrug them off like a younger brother, trying to pester us. And they're, I know they're short-handed, but, they're up and coming. But I don't think they can hang with the big boys just yet. Right now, we have 4 games in the loss column up on the Orlando Tragic right now, and we're looking up. We're looking up, fam. If we had beaten the Pistons, the Jazz, the Bulls, one of those Hawks games, the Rockets close game, I mean, take your pick, fam. We would have been ahead of the Boston Celtics right now by a wide margin without some of those, tough losses. I know some of them were self-inflicted as well. So yeah, that is a crazy achievement right now, and I think the Knicks are right where I expect them to be. 55 wins, I predicted. And we are on pace to make big noise. Big noise. Buzzer says Chewy gets a B. Had a good game, but awful turnovers. Yeah. I think Precious Achiuwa is that player where when you expand his role, you do start to see some of the more follies, but you also see more of his strengths as well with the blocks and the rebounds. That's what you usually get with these role players. When you play them a bit more, you will get some of those follies. So yeah, salute to everyone out here, Knicks Nation, the best chat in the biz, rocking out with us, buzzing. 11 games above 500 this early in the season. We salute to our health so far as well, and the blessings. We've been relatively healthy, and long may that continue as well. But our starting 5 is showing to be quite durable. Mikal Bridges hasn't missed a game. OG Anunoby as well, been durable, and Karl Anthony Towns as well, been really solid. Out west, it's a jungle, man. The Lakers, the Timberwolves are 9th. The Dubs, the Kings firing Mike Brown. today. I mean, contending 1 year down in the lottery the next year. It's insane, man, how quickly the NBA can pass you by. So that's why, front offices need to stay aggressive. Got to keep making moves, even if it's just on the margins, you know. Um, for example, I want to make the example out of the Indiana Pacers, fam. Everyone thought they were on an ascension. You make the Eastern Conference Finals. You're young. They think that you can go to another level. Well, reality can slap you in the face the next year if you don't make a big adjustment or improvement. And Indiana's come back. They thought their players would take another leap. There was a lot of talk about Obi taking a big leap. He's kind of borderline out of the rotation. You got players like Benedict Mathurin, who, Carlisle still can't really seem to find the right role. Pascal Siakam, Tyrese Halliburton, not able to lead that club, so far. I'm quite shocked that they're below 500 right now in a weak East, but I mean, that's a blight on Tyrese Halliburton, I think. The Hawks, we know what they are. They're a 500 team. I think they're not as good as us. Obviously, they've had the edge recently. I think we played into their hands a little bit, and I think we are going to be better if we did match up against them next. The Heat, I think we've already handled them once this season. The Bucks, we played really well, and what can I say about Orlando? We've won the season series now on them, and I know they're going to complain about health, but we didn't complain last season. It's funny how it only goes one way, fam. Right? Ain't no one want to talk about the Knicks losing to Indiana without Randall, Mitch, Bogdanovich, OG Anunoby, Hart, Brunson getting banged up, you name it. Right? A lot of neutral and media pundits and fans of rival clubs wanted to put the boot in and say that the Knicks lost, but when the other teams have injuries, they use that as an excuse, fam, but not us, right? We play no matter what, right? Our role players will step up if they have to. We still haven't seen Boston really tested. What happens if Drew Holiday misses, significant time? How do they deal with that? What happens if Derek White? I don't think who's irreplaceable for them, right? Kristaps Porzingis is now, in and out with some of the ankle injuries that he's picking up as well. Could Cleveland sustain a Darius Garland or a Donovan Mitchell injury? I don't know about that, fam. Well, so I think the Knicks' depth, I think, will serve us in good stead, fam, when it comes to the playoffs and, more guys that can just step up. Yeah, AP says Orlando is us last year. Buzzer Beater says Sixers fans say a lot of things. Yeah. And Big Dave says the Pacers overachieved last year and we improved. Yeah, you're 100% on that, guys. Buzz and Sandman says Halliburton is terrible. Yeah, he's not a franchise kind of guy at the moment, right, in terms of winning a championship. And I think there's real question marks over Ant-Man, right? Remember all that, discourse over Ant-Man being the next Michael Jordan? I mean, I've never heard anything more ridiculous in my life. I know he had that hot stretch during last season and he led them to the Western Conference Finals, but those comparisons to Ant-Man to Michael Jordan were just ridiculous. I mean, if Ant-Man was half the player people hyped him up to be, with that squad Minnesota have, I mean, I know they got Randall, struggling with chemistry issues, but they've still got Jaden McDaniels. They've still got Naz Reid. They've still got Mike Conley, DiVincenzo, and all those other guys out there, fam. I mean, with Ant-Man and Jules, they should be top 6 in the West, point blank. If Ant-Man is that guy, if he is him, they should be ahead of the Rockets and all those, but once again, man, those guys just ain't backing up the talk right now. It makes me appreciate our guys even more. They back it up. They know how much pressure is on the Knicks, man. Everyone can't wait to see the Knicks fail, right? If you ain't a Knicks fan, but we continue to handle our business right now. Even other teams' front offices are salty against the Knicks front office for wheeling and dealing and finding loopholes in the CBA. Yeah, LB So Wavy says, remember, they did the same thing with Jimmy Butler and Michael Jordan too, but with Ant Edwards, it was worse. Yeah, it definitely was, man. I called that from the jump. I said the Timberwolves would drop off in the rankings with the trade happening. Yeah, I think the front office deserves a huge A++, man. Next show, I'm going to get a Leon Rose graphic up on here as well. Because, I mean, it's top to bottom. You know, Tibbs been given his flowers at times. These players do as well. We come on here and we chop it up. And we buzz and we give them their flowers. But Leon Rose, I mean, to set this ball club up with a huge trade, it had an element of risk, no doubt about it. I think it did, receive some criticism. His fans wanted things to stay pat. Wanted us to at least run it back just to see what we look like and all of that. It was a risk, on the eve of media day, to send two, beloved Knicks, in a huge trade. And obviously trading 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges as well. But right now, I think we can say right now it's paid off, And if it doesn't end up paying off with a championship, it won't be because, it wasn't the smart move. It'll be for other reasons. But right now, we're handling our business 11 games above 500. I mean, you couldn't have asked for anything more out of these guys. Now, can Leon Rose do some more magic? We'll see. He's made some big moves at the deadline a lot of seasons now. Derrick Rose, it was OG. It was the Josh Hart move as well. He picked up Cam Reddish and then flipped Cam Reddish the following year. There's been a lot of deadline moves. Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks for Quentin Grimes. Every season there's been something. It's going to be fascinating to see what happens in January now as we pull up the schedule. Let's take a look. So just to see out the new year. No, that's the wrong one. Let me pull that one up. Okay. That's November. Yep, here we go. We got Washington on Saturday and then Monday again. I think that's 2 wins. That's 2 wins right there. And then we start the new year in that's at home to Utah. So that's going to be sweet revenge. Hopefully, fam. I haven't forgotten that Utah game. I know you guys haven't as well. That was a bad loss. But yeah, Utah and then Oklahoma, Chicago away. And then a huge 5-game homestand. We have Orlando again. Can you believe that? We have Orlando again early January at MSG though. And then the Raptors, Oklahoma, Milwaukee, and Detroit right there. So I think that's at least 3 to 4 wins right there. Philly, Minnesota, home and away, away and home. ATL at home, payback there as well. Brooklyn, home away from home. And then Sacramento, Memphis, and Denver all at home. That's going to be tricky, especially the Memphis and the Denver games, although we beat them away as well earlier. So yeah, what are your thoughts on January, man? I'm going to give that an 8.5 out of 10 in terms of, I'm looking at those games. I think the Knicks could realistically go, how many games are in January? 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. Well, 15 games. 15 games in January. The Knicks could easily go 10-5. 10-5 in that matchup, right? 5 losses might come against, I mean, there's so many games at home. Maybe OKC away. Maybe OKC away. Maybe one of the Memphis or Denver games. Maybe we drop one of those. I know we play OKC at home as well, so I don't think we're going to lose both of those. I think we might lose one. We'll definitely pick up the other one. Um, Philly away, I think that's a win. Um, I know Milwaukee at home. I can't see us losing that one either, man. I think we might only lose 3 games in January. I know that's been on the optimistic side, but look at January and tell me which games we're definitely going to lose. I mean, there's definitely a couple of tough games, but I think we could easily be 11-4. We could be 10-5 in January, and by then, man, we're going to be maybe 20 games over 500 at that point. Buzzerbeater says Leon Rose always gets my vote for exec of the year. He makes the most of what he has, fam. Definitely makes the most of what he has. Remember last season we signed Diakite, Shake Milton, Jeffries. We signed all those guys, man. And people were like, "Why are we signing these guys?" And then we use them in the trade to get the Mikal Bridges trade over the line, man. That was smart. That was smart. You know, continues to do the smart things and find ways to get talent in the door as well. And look, he's done it again with a couple of veteran minimum free agent signings. I mean, so far, Cameron Payne and Landry Shamet as veteran minimum players, as free agents, they've been very opportunistic pickups, right? I won't go crazy and say that they've been excellent or they've been, amazing, but they've been opportunistic, and they've been solid as veteran minimums to fit us under the salary cap. And they're both in the rotation. So what more could you ask for? The OG trade, I mean, continues to pay off in spades. That might be the best move the best trade Leon Rose has ever made, fam. And that's including the Cat trade because OG Anunoby, we're 41-13 with him in the lineup, right? Numbers don't lie. But also we got Precious Achiuwa back in that trade as well, who is in the rotation as well, a throw-in in that trade for some people. He's also in that, in the trade as well. But don't forget, we got Malachi Flynn, and we got some other pieces that we use to help, in the Detroit Pistons deal to get Bojan Bogdanovic, right? And then we use Bojan Bogdanovic to get Mikal Bridges. Well, so you see how far the tree branches span out, fam, in all of these wheeling and dealing that Leon Rose has done, fam, as well. In the OG trade, got us Malachi Flynn. We use Malachi Flynn in the trade to get Bojan Bogdanovic. We flipped Bojan Bogdanovic for Mikal Bridges and some of those other pieces as well with Shake Milton, and in the Cat trade, we used from the Brooklyn trade, we got Keita Bates Diop, and then we used Keita Bates Diop in the Cat trade as well, which has been crazy too. So yeah, it's time to vote for our New York Knicks, right? Let's vote and let's get these guys in. JB, Karl Anthony Towns, man, you're starting Eastern Conference starters in the All-Star game. They deserve it, fam. We're heating up, and one of the best teams in the NBA, fam, right now. One of the hottest teams. As I just pull up this efficiency landscape once again. For those that have missed it, I think the last 10 games basically, explain the story of where you're at. Fourth in the league, third in offense, ninth in defense in the last 10 games. It's been a softer schedule, but I think that's still a good sample size to take, from 10 games with Mikal Bridges stepping it up, defensively. But obviously, yeah, with the foul trouble with Cat, that is something that we do need to watch, right? And I do think there'll be some, some opportunistic minutes for Precious Achiuwa, for Mitch, and possibly another backup center if we do pick one up. Looks like we had a little brouhaha between Yusuf Nurkic and Najee Marshall in that one. We got some some physical ball being played on the West Coast right now. We saw that tonight. But yeah, Yusuf Nurkic slapped, and then looks like Najee Marshall slapped him back. Josh Hart, man, getting his praise. Game ball tonight. Just a great throwback player. 23 points, 13 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Led the team in rebounds and stocks tonight, man. Josh Hart has been phenomenal. And I think if you hold a gun to Tibbs's head and asked him which player, who's his favorite player, if he does have a favorite, I think Josh Hart. I think it's that guy. Yeah, he's his guy, fam. But yeah, Mikal Bridges really starting to show what he can do. I think to his max capacity. I think there was a lot of question marks early. What kind of Bridges would we see? And then obviously we got the slow start. Issues with the jump shot, all those things. I mean, we've come full circle right now. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Mikal Bridges for effort-wise, and on the defense. We've got so many Eastern teams struggling too that were supposed to be contenders. AP says Leon's best trade was trading in Cam Reddish and a first for Josh Hart, a protected first for Josh Hart. Talk about efficiency, man. We won that trade by a landslide. We won the Cat trade by a landslide now. And we've won the OG trade as well. Although I do think we won the trade with the Raptors, but I do think out of all the trades, I think the Raptors definitely got some good things out, I think they're definitely happy with some pieces that they got, with RJ Barrett being so young and homegrown, and also Emmanuel Quickly. I think, obviously, talent-wise, OG Anunoby's helping us win more, but I do think that we're going to lose OG Anunoby as a free agent. So I think out of all the teams that have lost in the trades against us, I think the Raptors have done the best out of those other teams, because they've got players for the future. They can keep them or they can flip them as well. There are still assets. Right now, Minnesota's in a tough pickle, and that's why one of the Knicks' main reasons for trading Julius Randle or looking for a trade was the contract situation. He has a player option, $33 million, and the Minnesota Timberwolves, have to find out what they're going to pay him. Is he going to pick up that option, or they might need to find a trade partner right now. And right now, Dante DiVincenzo just ain't playing. He ain't playing anywhere near his capability as last season. So we did sell high. Buzzer says Jokic is great, but Denver ain't going nowhere. Yep, yeah, they need better pieces around Jokic. I mean, the sky is falling for them right now. And yeah, I know AP, you're really high on the Cavs, but I think they deserve where they are in the standings. But you've got to understand, regular season standings are very different to the postseason. I think the reason I'm not buying the Cavs as much is because the last two postseasons, we've seen them come in with really good records and then get knocked out. So I think that's their goal. They have to show it in the postseason. I think regular season, we've seen this before. We've seen, this is Act 3 for Cleveland. This is the third year running they've had one of the best records. They just haven't been able to back it up. And we do know, for using Miami as an example, I mean, they can look god-awful heading into the postseason, and then round one, Jimmy Butler just flicks a switch. Yeah, and Jimmy Butler turns into Jimmy. He can knock out Giannis if he wants to. He could probably knock out Cleveland if he turns into, playoff Jimmy. So I think there's certain players that just, they flip that switch for the postseason, and there's some players that go the other way. They kind of shrink in the moment. It all comes down to, are you really a dog? I think in the playoffs, you got to be a dog. Otherwise, you won't survive. And I think, it's kill or be killed, basically, eat or be eaten. Um, I think, yeah, if the Knicks had Cleveland's record, I think we would still probably be not getting as much flowers from some of the pundits out there as well. There's people still not giving the Knicks credit because our slow schedule, softer schedule and all of that. But I kind of think like you can only beat who's in front of you, and we've had a lot of interruptions. Um, you know, we're not playing with a defensive-minded center, and our starting center on from last season is out right now. That's a factor as well. Um, Bridges has just started to click as well. Also, I don't think the Knicks have really flipped their switch yet either. I think Brunson, if the playoffs started tomorrow, you would see a different level Brunson. You would see a different level Josh Hart. I think even OG Anunoby. I think if the playoffs started tomorrow, you would see OG Anunoby play even harder as well. So I think good signs that the Knicks could take it up a level. Yeah, I don't think the Denver Nugs are going to do anything in this one. I think Jamal Murray is just, he's fallen off too much. It kind of reminds me when Chris Middleton, fell off, and basically the Bucks didn't have enough around Giannis. But yeah, Jazzman, the Knicks have another gear. Best believe that. I think the aim of Leon Rose, based on what I see, I think he'll be trying to strengthen our bench. I think the starting five is what it is, but I think it's not that he's unhappy with any of our current bench players. I think you just look to strengthen if you can. And so I think Leon Rose will be trying to maybe pick up another wing, another proven veteran, proven playoff kind of guy with experience. I'm just tossing names out there, but it could be a guy like a Clarkson, a Marcus Smart, a proven veteran that plays a certain role. Herb Jones type, Jonas Valanciunas even, just a player with experience. But if that opportunity is too steep or the price is too steep, I think he will just, do something else, in the buyout market. I think that'll be smart. I think see how that plays out. I think there's been a lot of people speculate that Ben Simmons might get waived. And if Ben Simmons gets put on the buyout market, there'll be a lot of teams looking to pick him up. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, depends on where you sit, the Knicks won't be eligible to pick up a Ben Simmons on the buyout market because his salary, I think the Knicks, due to being restricted of a second apron team, the Knicks won't be able to claim a guy on the buyout market with a salary that high, with a salary above the mid-level. It would have to be somebody that earning below the mid-level, I think, for a buyout guy. So, but that's just an example. I do think there'll be a lot of different dudes. So yeah, I'm good with it. Me personally, definitely. I think Ben Simmons wouldn't fit with this club, but there could be some other guys out there. That's just an example. There could be some solid players get waived because there'll be teams looking to tank. If they can't find a suitable trade and they want to lose ball games, they'll let a veteran go. It serves them no purpose to let a veteran on your team, stick around and and win you games. There could be a couple teams, use as an example, the Miami Heat. Let's say they end up keeping Jimmy. Let's see what they do. They might need to pick up some guys. They might let some guys go. The Bulls, especially, are a team. The Nets, the Hornets, could be looking to further shed some talent. Josh Green could be a player. He would be a wing I would look at as well. And we know the Wizards in dead last. We know they're going to sell maybe Kuzma, maybe Valanciunas, maybe some other guys as well. OKC, I think they're really talented. They're young. I think they've got to prove that they can get past the Western Conference Finals, which is tough. It's going to be 3 bloody matchups. It's going to be a war out in the West, fam. But I do think that they are the best team in the West right now. The Rockets are also really young, and so are the Memphis Grizzlies, man. It's crazy. And I can count out the Mavericks right now because they're going to be without Luka for 1 month. So they are going to drop. I don't really buy the Nuggets or the Lakers either. So I do think that OKC have a pretty good path. They have a pretty good path to make it, fam, past the West. But man, it's going to be fun, man. I'm looking forward to seeing a matchup against the Grizzlies or the Rockets, fam, and especially in the East. Knicks Magic, like I said, could be fun. Knicks Bucks could be fun in the postseason. It'll be good to eliminate the Heat and give them a payback for 2 years ago. 2 years ago. What the hell? A throwback between the Knicks and Cleveland again. We get Mitchell Robinson back, and that's their kryptonite. And then, of course, a Knicks Celtics Eastern Conference Finals matchup could be the one, man. That could be the one. Yeah, we're in a situation where we're restricted with our salary. We don't have a full mid-level right now. We have one of the smaller exceptions, but we can't use it because that's just going to send us over the second apron, fam. So yeah, we're tied up against the first apron. But yeah, we can definitely only sign a veterans minimum player, and March 2nd we can add that player as a free agent buyout guy as the 15th spot. So that's all we've got to play with. But I'm good with who we got, and we've definitely got a lot of upside with this squad as Landry Shamet works his way back into the rotation. Matt Ryan sticks around on a two-way for some good vibes. He seems to get along with the rest of the squad, so I've got no issue with Matt Ryan being around on the two-way. A lot of young guys for the future still. Maybe Leon Rose, maybe some other teams do look at some of our younger players like Kolek Daddy Hakpority. There's been reports by the New York Post, Steph Bondy, that teams have asked about Jericho Sims. Well, so Jericho Sims is gathering some interest from some teams. It'll be interesting to see what the Knicks could look at with that. I know Tibbs likes Jericho a lot, but the Knicks handle their business. We're back tomorrow night, fam. Can't wait once again to see you all and chop it up once again. Great comments, great buzz tonight. Salute to everyone out here. Smash that like button. Knicks 11 games above 500, and let's get it against Washington, fam. Let's spread these minutes out. Let's get an early blowout and get our starters some rest as well ahead of the second game against the Washington Wizards too. But yeah, we'll talk more about the playoffs, man, tomorrow night and different matchups. I'll tell you which matchups based on what I've seen so far that I want to see, that I think will be more favorable for the New York Knicks. But steady as we go. Let's take it game at a time, and let's continue to roll and stack up these wins, fam. I think a top 2 seed is in sight right now. I was one of the first to predict that Boston wouldn't win it again. I think the hangover is real. Winning back-to-back championships in professional sports is one of the most difficult things you can do. I think because you're not as hungry as the next guy coming up. You got some hungry dogs coming up. So can Boston repeat? I had my doubts, man. And I think we're starting to see them slip a little bit, right? And we have to be there. We have to be there ready to take it. If they give it to us, we get that second seed. And it'll be great. Great to see you all tonight. Many blessings, and let's get it tomorrow. Peace, everyone. Have a great night.